Good afternoon, Jonesboro Rotarians and friends and guests. Great turnout tonight. Today. Let's give ourselves a hand. All right, today is a very important meeting. It's always one of my favorite ones of the year when we have our district governor, who will be presenting the program today, Van Langford, and Van will be introduced a little bit later. But for right now, if you'll bow, I'd like to return thanks. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for all of our blessings. We ask that you keep us mindful that our purpose for serving in Rotary is to help the community and the world be a better place for everyone. And we ask that you bless this food to your service. Amen. Amen. All right. Well, to begin with, we have some special guests today. So I'll start out with Terry. Terry, would you like to introduce your guest?
Yes, I will. I'll be behind the camera because I don't like getting in front of the camera. I like telling my North Carolina State joke is the instructor told me if I wanted to graduate, I need to be behind the camera instead of in front of it. So that's what I try to do. I have Deidre West. She works at Caterpillar. Have Jake. He's been here before. CNN, ABC, CBS. Who else I got? Oh, I got my honey bun. Turn around, Peggy. I know you.
I'm not a guest.
Guess what? You're Annie.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, thank you.
All right. Glad to have you.
As you know, I'm a 20-year retired Marine, so I like to have fun sometimes. So I needed somebody to stand beside to give me some religion. So I brought Reverend Mark Akinoki.
Mark Akinoki. And Mark is also a member of our city council, so we appreciate your service. Anybody else? Do you have any more guests? Okay, Deb.
Hello, Rotarians. I have with me today Gene Holder. He used to teach at Lee Senior High, and he was in the Greensboro area, has come back now, retired in February, come back to Sanford, and so hopefully a prospective member. Gene Holder.
I've also started my business called American Apprenticeship Consulting. Going to be working with companies and connecting with the middle and high school students and educating them about careers and helping the school systems.
Glad to have you. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we have a great turnout today. Very happy to see that. Glad to see David Morse. Okay, let's move on to bragging bucks. We have any bragging bucks? Okay.
My wife and I just got back from Ridgecrest, California. We had 5 young Marines. Our grandson has started a Ridgecrest Wrestling Club, something he's always wanted to do. He's 27. And I gave him some money to pay for rent and showed me a letter he just got from the IRS. It's a non-profit. And wall-to-wall mats. He was a wrestler in high school and in college, and he played football. And wrestling's his favorite thing. He figures a lot of young people don't get a start. He didn't start until he was a freshman in high school, so he was good, but not good enough. So I just wanted to brag on him.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, Debbie.
So I'm 20, it should be 80. Saturday is Russell's 80th birthday.
Oh!
60. And so we are headed to the mountains right after this meeting.
Oh man, it's going to be beautiful over there.
Yeah.
Okay, Neil.
I've got Gene?
Nope.
September 4th, my wife and I will be celebrating our 52nd wedding anniversary.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay, Larry.
Grace and I just did 62.
You had to upstage me.
What up, Joe?
Anyone else?
I'll come to my 15.
I got to live over for Terry.
Yeah. I didn't be alone. Last Thursday night, we had the occasional milkshake in Brent Buchanan. So I felt like really good because they had Brent from the boys and the occasional milkshake from the butterflies.
Hootie and the
No,
Blood.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Blowfish. Yeah, blowfish. Whatever. The blowfish. So I felt kind of good, you know, like shooting video of those wonderful guys. So. And I couldn't have done without my good friend Dave.
All right. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, Terry does a great job. He volunteers so much time making videos for the community. When we have music at the parks, he's there every night videoing, and then he sends out a link. So if you can't go, you can watch it on YouTube. Do we have any announcements? I guess Peggy, we're still working on getting a date for our Rotary Social for the Christmas play.
Yes, I think we should try a Saturday evening,
Okay.
if that works for most people. Unfortunately, since COVID, that Saturday nights are our least selling evenings, which is
Okay.
odd. But I think we can get the best seats that night. And we have they're the first 3 Saturdays in December, so if we want to discuss when the best time is, I can reserve those tickets.
I think December 9th was one of the dates.
Yes.
So I'll get with you, we'll try to confirm that
Okay,
in the next couple of weeks and then have it on the calendar and start promoting.
great. And also, I should announce that Annie starts next Thursday. Performances, official opening is Friday. Our Temple teens will be doing their new set opening night, and they're fantastic this year. We have 4 new 13-year-olds who are really infusing the group with a lot of energy, but it's 20 of the most talented teenagers you'll ever see. We have 2 casts, so we have 15 young girls involved, as well as about 23 adults. It's really a first-class production. And a little tidbit, this was the first show, Annie was the first show I produced 17 years ago. So, and it's really difficult to get the rights, so we finally got the rights again. So I hope people will come out and support this young talent and come and see a great show.
All right, thank you.
David, backpacks on the 23rd, 21st. COC.
Okay. Backpack Pals on the 21st.
Yeah, it looks like around 600 bags.
Okay, about 600 packs need to be done that morning, so
No problem.
no problem at all.
No problem.
All right. Anyone else with an announcement? All right. At this time, it's time for our program. And Katie Walker, our Assistant Governor for our area, is going to introduce Van Lincoln. Let's give Katie a hand.
Hey everybody! Good crowd. It's always good to be in Jonesboro Rotary. So I'm going to read this because this is Van's shortened version of his bio.
What's wrong with that?
He was a preacher, we'll give him some grace. Van Langford is a native of North Wilkesboro. His Rotary journey began when a retired dentist who was making a house call for Van's 5-year-old son invited him to his first Rotary meeting in February of 2001. Van first joined the Rotary Club of Mocksville in 2001 and served as club president in 2010 through 2011. Van has always been a believer in the value of Rotary membership. So as he was starting a new business in Mount Airy in 2011, in his own words, he ran to join the Rotary Club of Mount Airy. I think we've heard that before in the past. Van served as Mount Airy Club President in 2014 through 2015. He then went on to serve District 7690 as the Foundation Advocate and then Assistant Governor for Area 1. In November 2021, Van was selected to be our District Governor for 2023-2024. Van is an avid supporter of the Rotary Foundation. He is a Paul Harris Fellow, sustaining member of the Paul Harris Society, a major donor, and as of this year is a new member of the Bequest Society. Van believes the mission of Rotary clubs is to is to create value in their communities through business networking, social networking, and community service, and he believes wholeheartedly that Rotary does create hope in the world. When he is not speaking to Rotary clubs, attending Rotary meetings, or running his senior home care business, he enjoys spending time with his wife of 34 years, he's chasing y'all, and his 2 grown children, their spouses, and his 3 beautiful granddaughters ages 3 and under. So Van, please welcome our District Governor, Van Langford, to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Then I'm going to move this to the side if you don't mind. And as Katie's already mentioned, when a former minister takes their watch off, as Ron Pierce says, that means nothing. But I do want to say thank you for being. I'm so glad to be here in Jonesboro. And I was kind of, and so I really heard some of the history, because when I walked in, I was asking David, I said, you know, David, I had this idea that Jonesboro was a little community outside of Sam. So I got the whole history today. I think that is really neat. But it's so good to be here. It's so good to be here with past District Governor Debbie Scott and Russell, who I've grown to know and love over the years. It's good to be here with our RILA chair, Christy Kinsey, who's revitalized RILA, and also our District Governor-elect, Ron Pierce. Ron says he's my roadie, and so Ron's been going to these meetings with me, so it's good. And I just want to tell you guys,
I'm here to protect the pants. 5 feet away. Yes,
there we go. And I just want to tell you guys that when you really struck the pot of gold when you got Katie Walker as your AG. Katie does an awesome job. And yeah, there you go. Katie does an awesome job. And, so she read that just like I wrote it. Thank you, Katie. So I want to begin today my talk with you I want to ask you a question. Why are you here? Now, I don't mean why are you here in the grander scheme of things. We'll leave that to the theologians and the philosophers to say, you know, why are we really here? But what I want to know, and I want your feedback. I want some feedback. Why do you choose to come to this beautiful venue on a Thursday afternoon and have lunch? Why are you a member of Rotary? Somebody, why are you here? Debbie?
Because I know that I can change and save lives.
You can change and save lives. Wow, that's powerful. Anybody else? Why are you here? Katie?
Because of all of these people that are in this room.
Because of all the people that are in the room, okay. Why are you here? Someone else?
Friendship.
Friendship.
I network to try to help you.
Network.
Make career decisions.
Very good.
To make a difference.
Make a difference. Thank you.
To give back to
give
my
back.
community.
To give back to the community. Okay. Anybody else? I'll have time for one more. Why are you here? Yes, sir.
My good friend Dave, I kept going to the first shop. And he just drove me right on in.
That's right. Hey, we all came to Rotary through an invitation, didn't we? What I wanted to challenge you to do today, in the brief time that I have, is I want us to look at not only why we're here, but why should other people also be here. Now, my remarks today have been heavily influenced by two of our past district governors who, and I've been in this district now for 23 years, been Rotarian in this district for 23 years, and so I've gotten to know both of these gentlemen quite well. The first is Charles Allen. Many of you know past district governor Charles Allen, who was our district membership chair for several years. He's now working with our Rotaract, which is a new venture that we're trying to form community-based Rotaract clubs in our district. And Charles Allen, early on in my training to be district governor, and as Debbie knows, maybe Ron knows, this thing isn't just a one-year thing. It's really a 6-year thing, but a lot of it's front-loaded. So the first 3 years are pretty intense in your training. But in one of our training sessions, Charles Allen made the comment, something that really stuck to me. And this was probably about 3 years ago, so probably around 2019, 2020. I think it was maybe right before COVID. He made the comment, he said, 20 years ago, there were 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. Okay, so around 2000, about the year that I joined Rotary, 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. And he said, here we are, 20 years later, again, this is about 2019, 2020, we have 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. Now think about that just for a moment. In 20 years, as good as Rotary is, all we managed to do was replace the ones that left. And these folks left for different reasons. They left because of a job change, or they left because of some time of maybe a family transition. Some of those passed away. But all we did, basically in 20 years, is replace the ones that left. So that's the first thing that prompted my talk today. The second thing that prompted my talk is from past district governor and Rotary International Director-elect Patrick Eakes. Now, some of you know the name Patrick Eakes. Next year, when Ron takes over as district governor of our district, Patrick will be a Rotary International Director. He'll be one of 17 people in the world, folks, from our district. And somewhere along the way in my training with Patrick, he made also a statement that really stuck with me. He said, people do not leave Rotary, they leave Rotary clubs. They do not leave Rotary, they leave Rotary clubs. And folks, why do they leave? They leave because, unlike you who find value in what we do here, they think Rotary is a waste of time. They have deemed it not important enough to give that hour a week to come to a meeting or come to a service project. So what my mission is during my tenure as district governor is I am challenging all the clubs in our district to take an honest look at yourself. What value do you bring to this community? What do you do in this community that makes people want to be a part of Rotary? Now, I believe that to add value to Rotary and to add value to your community, that your club needs to do 3 things. And the first thing is something that all clubs do, and I know your club does it. John knows I follow y'all on Facebook. I like all your posts and things like that. So the first thing that all clubs do, and your club does a good job of in the community, is community service. I mean, all Rotarians are known for their community service, and that looks different as I'm traveling through the district. That community service looks different in every place in our district. So what I want to do, I want to ask you to respond to me again. What are some of your favorite community service projects that your club does that you participate in? What's some of your favorite community service projects?
Backpack Bell.
Backpack Paddles. Okay, Larry, thank you. Someone else. What's a good favorite community service project you do?
Rise Against Hunger.
Rise Against Hunger. All right. Someone else.
Highway cleanup.
Highway cleanup. David, do you have a fancy name for highway cleanup?
I don't.
You don't? Well, I'm finding that a lot of Rotary clubs, one of their favorite service projects is highway cleanup, but some clubs have a fancy name for it. I mean, some people call it trash pickup. Now, my club in Mount Airy, we do this regularly on a quarterly basis, and we call it an environmental excursion. I was at a club, David, last week down at Pinehurst, and I asked that question. I said, "What's your favorite service project?" And the lady spoke up and said, "Roadkill." And I said, "What in the world is roadkill?" She said, "That's our trash pickup day." I never heard it called roadkill. But so anything you can do to romanticize picking up trash, I would say, go do it. But we know how important that service is to our community. And we know that you here in Jonesboro Rotary, you've recruited members just because there are people, as already been said, I want to make a difference in my community. I want to connect my community, and I know Rotary is a vehicle to do that. And I think we need to continue doing that. We need to keep on with our community service because it truly adds value, not only to our Rotary Club, but it adds value to our community. We make a difference. You make a difference in the Sanford area when you are doing community service. And I think it's very important, and it's one of the ways we build value in Rotary. But folks, there's a couple other ways that I think how we build value in our Rotary clubs, the value in our community, that sometimes we overlook or forget. And quite honestly, some of these things have kind of been taboo in Rotary, as I'm finding over the years. Yes, we build value in our clubs through community service. But as Katie's already said in my intro, I think we build value in our club when we tastefully and ethically and professionally do business networking. You know, the very foundation of Rotary started as a business networking group. On February 23rd, 1905, when Sylvester Shield, who was a coal dealer, and when Gustav Layer, who was a mining engineer, and when Hiram Shorley, who was a merchant tailor, he made and sold clothes. I think, Katie, he might have made the first pair of Rotary pants, I'm not sure. And then, of course, our most famous person in that group, Paul Harris, when they met in Gustav Layer's office on February 23rd, 1905, as Paul Harris would later say, we met for the purpose of building camaraderie among business associates. Those guys want to network together in business. Now, 2 years later, in 1907, this group, there was actually a fifth Rotarian. His name was Harry Ruggles. And he didn't come to the first meeting. I don't know if he was invited to the first meeting and couldn't make it, or maybe he was their first new member. But Harry Ruggles, David, owned a printing company in Chicago. And he's responsible for printing what we know now as Rotarian Magazine, and also the Rotarian Songbook. Has anybody been a part of a singing club before? I have. You have, John, okay. So, but these guys wanted to network together. That was in 1905. Now, 2 years later, 1907, they did their first community service project. Anybody know? Dave, you can't answer this. Chris, you can answer this. Anybody knows what that was? The first community service project for Rotary in Chicago. Katie, you can answer this.
You can't mix us all out.
Wait, I think I know.
Okay, David.
Public toilets?
Yes. They built the first public toilet in Chicago because they needed a public toilet. So they saw a need in the community, and Rotary met it. And then, of course, 10 years later, 1917, Rotary Foundation was formed, and we were off and running. But my point is that at the very core of who we are as Rotarians, we were designed to be a business networking organization. However, there are some clubs that this has kind of become taboo. Now, last year at this time, as Ron is following me around, I was doing my best to follow Debbie around. And we were visiting the club. I don't want to call the name of the club for various reasons, but I was visiting the club with Debbie one afternoon, and it was a lunchtime club like this. And just as I met with your board before the meeting, Debbie and I met with their board, And so the board meeting was over, just like we did today. We went through the buffet, we sat down, and just as I had sat down with my plate at the table, and and so as I was sitting down, I'd already sit down, there was a guy, a board member, was coming towards my table. And I said, Bill, have a seat with me. I said, he said, okay. And so Bill started putting his plate down, and he got here just in his chair. And I said, Bill, what do you do? And he went, and I thought, Bill, are you a drug dealer? I mean, what is it? What is it? I mean, I don't understand. And he said, I didn't think I was supposed to tell you. And finally, I got out of Bill that he was an accountant. I didn't know there was any shame in being anybody an accountant in the room. I know there's no shame in being an accountant, is there? There's no shame in being an accountant. But Bill, for some reason, was afraid to tell me, his district governor-elect, what he did because he said, I didn't think I was supposed to tell you. Folks, we've got to change that. Again, I believe this needs to be done tastefully. It needs to be done professionally. It needs to be done ethically. But we were created as a business networking organization. Past District Governor John Spillman tells a story, and he actually told it last week at Membership Summit. He referred to it on a panel he was on. Now, John Spillman is the Edward Jones financial advisor up in Greensboro. And he said that one day he took his client list and went all the way down his client list of all his clients. And I understand John's pretty successful up there in Greensboro doing this, but he said he took all of his client list, and he said, I could trace 25% of my business to Rotary. 1/4 of his business to Rotary. When I was elected district governor back in 2020, in the fall of 2020, and as Katie mentioned in my introduction, I own a senior home care business. My wife and I own it. We hire people to go into homes of senior adults and help with their activities of daily living. We have about 60-some folks in the field. We have 5 folks in the office, administrative staff. And when I was elected district governor back in 2020, I sat my staff down one day and I said, look, I have taken this big role with Rotary. And I said, and this role is going to mean that I'm not going to be here very much. And they were all kind of excited about that. And I said, but you all know what a difference Rotary has made in our business. Because the phone will ring in our office, and somebody will say, and sometimes I answer the phone, most times it's somebody else, and somebody will say, well I know Van from Rotary. Or Van goes to Rotary with somebody, and I need help, and they hear Rotary, 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 Rotary over and over and over again. And I said, I'm doing this because Rotary has been so good to us. And if I can serve in this role for these years, then it's my way of giving back. And folks, I'm serious about that. One of the reasons that I wanted to be district governor is this is a way that I can give back, because Rotary has meant so much to me, not only personally, but professionally. As Katie said, when I started my business in Mountain Area, I ran to the Rotary Club because I knew the value of it. And the thing about it is I like doing business with fellow Rotarians. Last couple years ago, we had some damage to our roof. We had a leak in our roof, and it leaked through our master bathroom, and so we had all kinds of issues. And so anyway, making a long story short, I was at a Rotary Club meeting with Debbie last August, and a guy was passing out a report that he was given to a board report, and he had his business card taped on it. And everybody was kind of giving him a hard time. His name was Mark, and we was up at the Yadkin County Club. And I've known this guy for years. I was his area governor for 3 years, and I've had a lot of contact with him. And so after the meeting, I said, Mark, what do you do? And he said, well, I'm kind of a contractor. I go out and do jobs around houses. Oh my gosh, Mark, I need a new roof. And oh my gosh, Mark, I need somebody to fix my bathroom up. And so making a long story short, Mark, a fellow Rotarian in another club, and a lady who's Rotarian in my club who sells tile and granite and all that stuff, they got together, and I've got a new roof and a beautiful bathroom now. And I leaned on my Rotary friends to help me do that. And do you know why I do business? I like doing business with Rotarians. Because I want to do business with somebody who once a week stands in a room just like this and says, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Folks, don't we all want to do business with folks like that? Folks who do business ethically and fairly. So I believe that one of the things that builds value in our club is when we provide, again, ethically, professionally, and with good taste, opportunities to network our business. How else can you get other young entrepreneurs to come into your club? I was an old entrepreneur. I was 50 years old when I started my business, and the Rotary Club paid off hugely. But I think that's another way that you build value in your club. So we build it through community service, through business networking, and the final way we build value is through what I call social networking. Now, if you have grown up in a Baptist church or church, we call this fellowship, but I call it social networking, because never underestimate what you do when you meet together and when you do service projects together. Sometimes, the social networking or the fellowship just kind of happens organically. But I have challenged all presidents and all clubs this year to be very intentional about how you do social networking. Matter of fact, I'm giving District Achievement Award points just for activities that surround just you guys getting together and enjoying one another's company. Because I believe that whenever we do social networking, there's something that deeper that happens than just being together. Now I have a friend, and Katie and Ron and Debbie and Christy all know what I'm talking about, named Karen, who is up in Greensboro. Now Karen is a very accomplished young lady. She has a PhD in psychology. She owns her own business. She is just a smart, well-versed young lady. She has a beautiful family. You would look at Karen, you would think, well, this is a person that has it all together. She's probably just been it all together all her life. But last year, just before Karen became president of her club up in Greensboro, she invited me to come down, and I think Debbie was there too. And she invited us to come and said, I'm going to go over my plans for my presidency this year. I want you to come. And I said, sure, I'll be glad to. And so Karen stood up to her club in Greensboro just before she announced her plans for the year. And she said, all through high school, all through college, and all through graduate school, I never felt I found a place where I belonged. I thought, wow. She said, but when I found Rotary, I found a place where I belong. Oh my gosh. Rotary to her was just more than helping her network for her business. Rotary for her was more than just community service projects that she was participating in. It touched her at a deeper level. To any of you, now I'm 61 years old, I'll be 62 in December. Do any of you folks around my age remember back in the 1990s, on Thursday night at 9 o'clock, there was a show that came on. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. And folks, I believe that's the value that we can bring to this community when we provide a place to come and we get in touch with people at a deeper level, a place where they can find belonging. Now, I want to, this year, while we're, just as I close, I want to talk about another way that I believe we bring value, particularly this year. We do every year, particularly this year, because you know that this year our theme is Create Hope in the World. Our Rotary International President, Gordon McInally, when I was at International Assembly back in January, announced this our theme. And as he was fleshing that out, he told us the story of his younger brother Ian, who for years, unbeknownst to many family members, had never asked for help and never said what was going on, had battled depression. And the height of his battle came, unfortunately, in 2014, while on a business trip to San Francisco, Ian McInally took his own life. And so for Gordon, mental health awareness is very personal to him. And so as you know, this year, and I've talked to your board about this, your president, David, and you got a great president. David is on top of it. David's engaged. He's at every meeting. And David, thank you for your leadership. But David knows that this year we are doing, I'm making it available, much like Debbie last year did the public image grants. We're using that money in what I call hope grants. And this is money that will be given to the districts, each club, $400 from the district, matched $100 from your club to go out and do something, partner with someone that's doing good work in mental health. And I'm not going to steal David's thunder or your board's thunder, but they've already got some great ideas. But I think when this community sees that Rotary is tackling this thing of mental health in some way to take away the stigma of these diseases, then I think we truly bring value to our clubs. All right. I'm going to close by telling you one quick story. And, you know, I know Sanford is a small town, and I love small towns. I've always lived in small towns. As Katie said in my introduction, I'm from North Wilkesboro. Anybody know where North Wilkesboro is? On the way to Boone. Everybody knows where. That's where one of the football games, isn't it? And I said, yep, that's it. North Wilkesboro, went to Wadesboro in Anson County, lived there for a while, met my wife there. We then moved to Dobson, a little town in Surrey County, went back to Moxville, and then I'm back in Mount Airy. So I've always loved living in small towns, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But as you know, in small towns, sometimes your resources are kind of limited. For example, in Mount Airy, we basically have 2 grocery stores. Now, I don't know if you ever realize or not, but a grocery store has a certain personality or a certain vibe to it. Now, the 2 grocery store chains that we have in Mount Airy are Food Line, based in Salisbury. My father-in-law used to work across the street at a rival grocery store from Kettner Brothers, which later became Food Line. And the next grocery store we have is Lowe's Food, which is based in my hometown of North Wilkesboro. But whenever I go into these 2 grocery stores, it's a whole different experience. For example, when I go into Lowe's Food, when I walk in the door and I immediately look to the left, I see a beautiful case of cut fresh flowers. And my wife, if she were here, would tell you that she's been a beneficiary of some of those flowers on occasion. I keep walking back straight. Right before me is a beautiful wine section. And right past that is a beer den. And you know what, Larry? Right on my shopping cart, there's a little cup holder. And I've been known on occasion to go to the beer den and grab a beer and do my shopping. I mean, it's just a whole different feel. I mean, And I think even the lights are lowered in Lowe's for some reason. I mean, it's just got a whole different vibe. I hate to get romantic about a grocery store, but you know, I mean, it's just a whole different vibe.
Van, would you stop at our Lowe's?
Okay, I'll tell them Larry, I will. This is the way it is. I'm going to speak from out here. I don't know about here in Sanford. And I shop at both grocery stores, but when I go to Food Line, it's a whole different vibe. When I walk in the door, instead of seeing wine and roses, I see Little Debbie cakes and water that's on sale and things like that. And so I've told my wife, and I say it kind of tongue in cheek, but I'm really kind of serious about it. I said, you know, honey, when I want to buy groceries, I go to Food Line. But when I want to go for an experience, I go to Lowe's. I told that story, Larry, my first club visit up in Winston a couple weeks ago. And one lady spoke up and said, yeah, but Food Line's cheaper. And I said, you're right. You are exactly right. Everybody in Mount Airy knows that Food Line's cheaper than Lowe's. But you know what? When I want to go for an experience, I'll pay a little more.
Yeah, value.
And the last time I checked, Rotary costs a little bit too, doesn't it? So folks, it's okay to do that when you provide an experience and when you provide value. And I want to challenge you, Jonesboro Rotary, to keep on, keeping on, and truly provide an experience and a value to this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Van. And on behalf of the club, we appreciate your dedication and service as district governor. We all know how much time that takes and the commitment it takes, and you're doing a great job. And Van is going to have a fantastic district conference in New Bern next spring. So everybody check that out. And Debbie's actually going to be able to be at that conference.
There's a website you can go to look at all the fun, and I've got some updates to put on there tomorrow in my Rotary blog. That it's www.notyourmamasdistrictconference.com.
Thank you very much. And Ron, appreciate you finding Sanford today. And Katie, you know you're always welcome. So it's time to conclude the meeting. So I'm going to ask John Ransberger if you'll lead us in the four-way test and pledge.
Be glad to. Please join me in reciting the four-way test, the things we think, say, and do. First,
is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to our guests today, we appreciate you coming, and we would love to have you consider joining our club. So if you have an interest, we'll be glad to get more information.